Director General of UNIDO, UN Deputy Secretary General, Your Excellency Vice President of Côte d'Ivoire, Commissioner for Trade and Industry, distinguished guests, my dear friends. I'm truly pleased to be part of this event to share our aspirations and experiences in a context of a genuine conversation about Africa as a continent of still not unexplored completely, and as a potential emerging economy. I would like to thank UNIDO, especially my friend Leong, for creating the space to continue to deliberate this vision of an African continent with a huge potential and so enriched by its human capital and diverse resources. I believe that this vision for African countries can be effectively implemented through a proper business environment, and I must commend the many important steps that have been taken. Good governance, the necessary legislative framework and regulation to provide businesses with legal certainty and proper consumer protection. I am convinced that all this would also change the wrong perception of some countries who up till now have only perceived Africa from a migration perspective and not from an opportunity point of view. The migration issue should not overly worry countries in terms of its impact on our societies. What should be a cause for concern for all of us is the huge brain drain that African countries suffer, and which eventually will and might create a stumbling block for socio-economic growth. Another fundamental requirement, as I see it, for the successful socio-economic growth in Africa is undoubtedly the need for universal free access to a sustainable education system with vocational training as an intrinsic way of life for all youth in Africa. This will definitely provide a much-needed, flexible and qualified African workforce. I am convinced that together with these fundamental requirements in place and the successful implemented African Continental Free Trade Area, also as part of the third industrial development decade for Africa, will ensure inclusive prosperity and holistic well-being to all African peoples. Personally, I have been to a number of African countries where I led business delegations from my country, and I could experience firsthand the willingness and openness of African authorities and the business sector for genuine collaborations and strategic partnerships. In fact, many Maltese businesses are successfully engaged with their counterparts in a number of African countries. If tiny Malta in size, with such a limited business sector, can manage to develop significant collaborations and partnerships, then I am convinced of the many untapped opportunities that lie ahead. I have also had personal experiences with diverse civil society organizations, which impressed me with their tangible projects for community-level empowerment. This is why I am convinced that Africa stands waiting for genuine and sustainable investment in order to maximize the growth potential of its countries and the human potential of its people. Africa does not need our charity. Africa needs our genuine and honest, sustainable investment which will ensure mutual growth and prosperity. Coming from the Euro-Mediterranean region, I would like to call upon the public and private sector of my region to explore all possibilities with their African counterparts to realize all the potential that Africa holds for mutual business and for the African people. Another important issue which I would like to raise in the context of the growth potential of the African continent is the importance that must be given to women participation. I must acknowledge and commend those African governments who have acknowledged the need of the participation of women through strategies for empowerment, access to education and healthcare, and other socio-economic equality initiatives. We are all aware that we will not achieve sustainable prosperity anywhere in the world without achieving gender equality. I would also like to refer to a research study published by the World Bank entitled Gender, Time Use, and Poverty in Sub-Saharan Africa, where it was established that women in agriculture work longer hours daily on average than men. Moreover, while women farmers make almost half of the agricultural workforce across the African continent, their level of productivity is significantly lower than that of their male counterparts. It is said that this is due to asymmetrical distribution of vital resources, such as seeds and fertilizer. In fact, according to indicators from the World Food Programme, if women farmers are provided with more resources, this would reduce the numbers of people at risk of starvation by 100 to 150 million. Women are fundamental stakeholders to change the situation for the better. Research confirms the importance of women's participation in Africa. And to support this, I would like to quote from the Gender Equality Index of the African Development Bank, which states that the women of Africa make a sizable contribution to the continent's economy. They are more economically active as farmers and entrepreneurs than women in any other region of the world. I would like to emphasize that it is evident that strengthening women's participation is also essential for the socio-economic prosperity of Africa. UNIDO is well placed to support this vision. And I'm convinced that Africa has the potential to give the necessary quality of life to its peoples and especially to its youth. Ensuring that the third industrial development decade is a success for Africa is also a crucial component in the effective implementation of Agenda 2030 and its 17 Sustainable Development Goals. This positive impact will not only be enjoyed by African countries, but will also impact all of humanity. I would like to reiterate that our attitudes and perception towards Africa must change. I dream of Africa's success and of being able to say that each state in the world played a genuine part in making it happen. And I would like to end my contribution this morning with the inspiring words of Nelson Mandela, who said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." This is what I believe for Africa. Thank you.